Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and today I have yet another art paper review. I kind of didn't realize that I had two different paper sort of testing videos back to back, and if I noticed earlier I probably would have changed up the order a little bit, but nevertheless we have this Fabriano toned C paper here, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I saw it when I was sort of looking online for art supplies to buy because I've been buying lots of art supplies lately. I saw it and I was like, Fabriano, I know that brand because I usually get a watercolor paper in that brand, and I saw that they did toned paper for like dry media, and I really wanted to try it out and see what it was like. So at the moment I'm just sketching out some little swatches here. As you can see, I am using these woodless colored pencils which I used in a previous video, and I would have used my Prismacolor pencils if I had access to them, but I currently don't. I'm also trying out my Artistro paint pens and of course my alcohol based markers, as you can see, and I'm just trying to get a feel for like what art supplies work well on this paper and what ones don't. I also decided to see what my watercolor paints and my metallic watercolor paints would look like on this. Even though this paper isn't really made for that, I just wanted to see what would happen if I tried them out on there. But yeah, overall I like how all of these art supplies look on this paper, and I am excited to get into making an artwork. So let's start off with a nice simple sketch, and I'm just using some graphite first here because I think this is mainly what this paper is made for. When you use sort of toned paper, it's really nice to sort of use like grey stuff like sketching pencils, and then maybe use a white gel pen or a white paint pen or even a white colored pencil to add in the highlights, and it ends up with a really nice sort of polished piece that's like a sketch, but it's got that different feel because you have that color in the background instead of white. And I think it looks really cool too because the white highlights stand out really well on a toned paper like this. And I decided to sketch out a face here because honestly I have been shying away from drawing faces and people lately. I don't know why. I guess I just feel like I've had a better connection with drawing like animals and Pokemon and nature and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I decided to put it in my sketchbook, honestly, because I really like this sketch and I wanted to keep it for a long time because it just looked really cute and I loved the way the hair turned out. So I decided to get one of my pages that I wasn't too happy with and draw a black border on there, and we are adding in some glue, and I am gluing in this into my sketchbook because it just looks so cute and I think it would fit really nicely in there. But yeah, I actually had a lot of fun using graphite on this paper. I think it works very well, especially when you add highlights. It just looks really cool. Next, I wanted to do a little bit more detailed of a piece, and I decided to try out more art supplies because the first one was just a sketch with some pencil and obviously, you know, a paint pen to add in the white, but I really wanted to try and see how markers and stuff works in an illustration on this paper. And since this paper is actually called toned C paper, I decided to try out a little bit of a C scene. As you can see, we have some coral and we have a little octopus character and a mermaid in the middle because I like drawing mermaids and I think they're really pretty. And as you can see, I'm just adding in some grays for the rocks, and I really like how like the color sort of is toned down in this because of the blue in the background. It really gives a different feel that I honestly was not expecting when going into this. Because it's more of a grayish blue, all of the colors are toned down a little bit, and I had actually needed to go into my paint pens because they are more of an opaque medium, so they covered up a lot of that you know, like a dull grey color. But if I have to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this drawing, and I actually decided to not finish it because I just wasn't really liking the way it was turning out. So let's move on to another piece. Now, when I look at this sort of grayish blue background, I realized that it doesn't like remind me too much of the sea. Even though it's called toned sea, it kind of makes me think of like a sort of dark stormy kind of night. So I took that idea and I decided to draw something which I really like to draw, and that is a portrait of an animal. Now, as you can see, I chose an owl because, you know, owls are they're nighttime predators. They're birds that come out in the nighttime, and I thought that that would suit the theme of this. And I started off with just a rough sketch with my mechanical pencil, and I wasn't too precise on details or anything like that because I wanted to build up the details using the art supplies in question, which are mostly alcohol-based marker with a little bit of paint pen on top. Now I decided on these two because I felt like they worked the best on this paper. Now, if I had access to my Prismacolor pencils, they would probably go better than the woodless color pencils that I have at the moment, because I've realized that the color pencils that I have at the moment, they're not the most opaque, so they don't really go down the best on a toned paper. And I probably should have mentioned that in the video where I showed them off, because yeah, I don't know, just in case you wanted to try them out, just keep that in mind. Honestly though, that is kind of understandable because they are a sort of cheaper, more student grade pencil, and you kind of expect that for that kind of price range, which really makes me want to try out this paper again when I get access to my Prismacolor pencils, because I kind of want to see how that looks. As you can see now, I've gotten down some nice details on this owl here, but once I add that paint pen over the top, it just adds a level of contrast that I just couldn't get with the alcohol-based markers, and that's because the paint pens are opaque. This actually really helps to get some nice dark shadows, because as much as I layered on the black alcohol-based marker, it wasn't as dark as pure black, whereas when I got out the paint pens, it was closer to a pure black, so it helped me get some nice dark shadows as well as some highlights that were lighter than the actual paper color. This also helped a lot when adding in things like the leaves over the top of the branches, because I could layer them over the top and it would look nice, as well as highlights on the owl's eyes and feathers and stuff like that. And overall, I really like this piece and I think it looks pretty cool. And as for the paper, I do really like it. I think I like it better for like sketching and stuff like that, but it's going to be fun just experimenting with different art supplies in the future as well. It definitely reminds me a lot of the Strathmore toned paper that I think you can get in like tan and blue. If you've tried that out before, it's quite similar. So that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, honestly, because I had a lot of fun drawing on the paper and I just think it was really interesting. And I would really appreciate if you hit like and subscribe on this video because it helps me out so much. Hope you're having a lovely day, and I shall see you in my next video, which is probably not going to be a paper review video because I kind of posted two of those back to back. Bye everyone.